welcome to Hosting the Supernatural. This is Monday Nights with Nicky, and we're going to speak on leadership. You know, leadership is the vital key for our lives. Everything rises and falls on leadership, like John Maxwell says. And so these Monday nights are leadership development nights. We want to get you to the top. You know, we want you to experience the view from the top as a leader. And so it's very important for me. My heart's desire is that you will become the best leader you can be in your family, in your business, in your ministry. And we want to train and develop supernatural leaders for this generation. So I want us to get into today's sessions. For the next 2 Monday nights, I have a special guest here. I am so honored to have this great man of God with me. He's in my eyes, one of the best teachers on leadership and finances you can ever find. And I'm saying that with all due respect. He's got an incredible church in the north of Johannesburg. If you are in the north of Johannesburg, you must go to his church. All his details will be on the screen. I'm going to introduce you to this man of God. You're not ready for this. This is an incredible man of God. His name is Ps Tich. I met him a couple of years ago when I preached at a Kenneth Copeland's partnership conference, and he was there, and our hearts is connected, and God's brought us together, and from there we became real father and son relationship, and we've been building this relationship for many years. He's the author of 16 books, great church, husband of 1 wife, great children, and so this is Ps Tich, and we're going to spend the next 2 weeks with you, and you can get all his products on his website. It's going to be life-changing. So, would you welcome today on the program with me, Ps Tich, here on the set in Hosting the Supernatural. Son, it's so great to have you here, man.
It's so good to be here, Dad. I'm really, really excited, and I know we're going to have a great time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, son, your heart is for Africa.
Yes.
And, you know, you do leadership development, and you do all these things in Africa. Why don't you just tell our audience out there what you're doing, what God has been doing in your ministry and in your life as well?
Wow, it's been an amazing journey, Dad, because from the time that I began to discover leadership from a Bible perspective by reading John Maxwell and other great leaders, I began to realize that we had a responsibility as the church to make a difference. Firstly, by becoming the kind of leaders that bring the type of change that's needed. And that's where the vision for Africa was birthed, where I began as a youth leader, and I began to train the young people, teach young people. We started off with a youth group that had about 30 young people in it, and by the end of that year, we had over 450 young people attending our youth meetings. It was just amazing. And I realized that there was a gift in me to raise leaders, to raise people that have influence. And that's where we began to teach these principles and my passion to coach. I would watch John Maxwell sitting on his bar stool and coaching and people with the little table and eating his mints and drinking water. And I said to myself, that's going to be me one day. And from that moment, that passion began to grow. And when I began to see the crisis, the poverty in Africa, the lack of leadership in Africa, the passion began to grow. And I began to say to myself, what can we as the church do? What's God's blueprint to change Africa? And I realized that one of the components was we needed to raise leaders. And that was the birth of Success Paradigms 101, a coaching company that does leadership coaching, marriage coaching, finance coaching, and business coaching. So I have a passion to develop materials, resources, books, coaching modules and workbooks that develop leaders and help people discover God's blueprint to being a great leader.
You know, Ps Tich has, like I said, written so many books, 16 books, I think. 16 books, creating manuals for his own publishing company. And even Hosting the Supernatural, my book, was published through your company. It was
an honor to publish my dad. I really enjoyed that.
That was fun.
Yeah.
We're going to do the next one soon.
I'm ready.
But, you know, your passion has ignited something in my heart to bring manuals out.
Yeah.
Books out that can really equip Africa.
Yes.
You know, that we can train them to become powerful leaders in this generation.
Absolutely.
There's a new generation arising, and in this generation that's arising, we have to put our focus on developing them to become great leaders. In South Africa, we see a lot of leadership problems.
That's
Business world, political world, in
church
families,
world,
church
right
world.
through. Yeah.
So it's true what John Maxwell says. Everything rises and falls on leadership.
Absolutely.
And so for the next 2 weeks, we're going to have a great time here on the set. And I want you to get your notepads out. I want you to get a pen out and paper, because the wisdom is about to flow. And I want you to take notes, because this is a one-on-one coaching with you and getting you develop into the things that God has in store for us. So, son,
Yes,
what is the first thing you say we need to get as leaders, and what is the important thing about that?
The starting point is always vision.
Okay.
Vision. Proverbs 29 verse 18 says, where there's no vision, the people perish. One translation says, where there's no redemptive revelation, the Amplified, where there's no redemptive revelation, the people cast off restraint.
Wow.
Vision therefore becomes the guardrails that govern our lives. Kind of like driving on a highway. You've got 4 or 5 lanes and you can maneuver between that, but you've got the guardrails that stop you from going over the edge. So without vision, you have nothing guiding you. You have no signs telling you how far you're going, how far you still have to go. So the first place I always stop with any person is the question on vision. What is your personal vision? What is your vision for your organization? What is your vision for your family, for your marriage, for your business, for your nation? And it is amazing. Statistics actually say that 95% of the people that are on the planet, that means 95% of the people that are watching us right now, have no vision and will not succeed in life. That's an amazing statistic. And when I first read it, I thought to myself, maybe that's not true. But I've sat with hundreds of people doing personal coaching, and I've discovered that most people do not have a vision they can clearly articulate. So the first place I always stop is, what is your vision? Because here's something interesting. If we're going on a journey, let's say we're going to Bloemfontein, and it's not the modern day that we have the Garmins and the navigation tools. We're using the old style maps. The first key factor about using the map to go to where I want to go to is I got to know where I am. I can't just say I'm going to Bloemfontein and maybe I'm in Joburg, maybe I'm in Cape Town, maybe I'm in somewhere else. I got to find out, where am I? And we call that current reality. Where am I going? Bloemfontein. We call that desired reality. So that's the vision. The vision is to move from current reality to desired reality. And my job as a coach is to help people define those parameters. Where am I? Where do I want to go? And what is it going to cost to move from Joburg to Bloemfontein? So coaching is about locating the vision. So without a vision, my job as a coach becomes useless, because I cannot help you go nowhere.
Yeah. And you see that I think the problem is this, that people have, or there's a misconception about dreams and visions.
Yeah.
You know, I dream about having a house at the sea, and so, and they think that's vision.
Yeah.
Vision is different. There is a set plan for that. There's a set destination for that.
Absolutely.
It's not something I hope for.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hope for it, but I'm getting there.
Yes.
Because without vision, there is provision. There's no provision. I think what we need to help the people is this. I want you to speak about vision, and just speak to the people in the camera about vision. But although we have a big vision, I've learned something. I have to break it down.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, how do you eat an elephant? Piece by piece, right? And the vision is exactly the same. It's like, yes, I have a vision for a bigger building, bigger ministry. But I've learned something. I can't go to my church, for instance, and say, we're going to build a 200 million rand facility. That's the vision.
Yeah.
But I have to break it down. And say, okay, our first phase will be 10 million. Because that is reachable, that's achievable, we can do that.
Yes.
You know, and people have faith for that.
Yes.
But if you give too big of a vision, it's like your people in the company or in the membership is like, nah, I can't do that, you know.
Yeah.
So I think vision needs to be broken down into smaller pieces, and then you start eating from there and start building from there.
Absolutely.
So speak to the people about, you know, the characteristics or the points on vision that you want to give to them on this program.
Okay. Using the same analogy of traveling from Joburg to Bloemfontein, if you're going to go on this trip, you're going to have to consider a number of things. You're going to have to consider what mode of transport are we using, what fuel, what amount of fuel do we need, what's our budget. You need to begin to look at the different resources that are needed to make the trip a reality. Whether it's moving your church from 100 members to 1,000 members, building the 200 million rand building. In Africa, there's a proverb that is very common, that if you're going to kill the elephant and eat it, call the whole village. You got to build the team. So in setting a goal to do something great, you need to sit down, begin to do your strategy. What is it going to take? I travel a lot. I love to travel with my family to go to Cape Town, Durban, wherever it is. And as we drive, we have bathroom stops. You got to measure it out. We can't do the whole 1,200 kilometers without a bathroom stop, without a refreshment stop, without a stop over where we say we stop here, we refresh, we eat, we have lunch, we have some food, we rest, so that my focus as the driver is in place. So as a visionary, a person with a vision that I'm taking my company to somewhere great, you're going to have to measure it out and communicate the vision in a way that the team, my children and my wife, the leaders in the church, in the organization, in my business, communicate the vision clearly. That's where we're going ultimately, but we will have some stops. We have some stopovers that help us to notice that when we left, it was Cape Town 1,200. Now it's Cape Town 1,000. Now it's Cape Town 500. What does that do? It helps me to see that I'm getting closer to my vision. Now, to answer directly what you've just highlighted, that you need to look at the whole picture as the leader, the whole vision. What does it look like? But you cannot do it in one day. So you got to now begin to break it down. What can I do immediately? I can plan. I can buy the snacks now. I can get the fuel. I can get the car service. What am I doing? I'm getting ready for the big vision. I begin to communicate to the stakeholders, to the people that are key in the organization, right. Top level management, middle level, and lower management. This is where we're going, and this is what is going to... You escalate the vision progressively with each of the different stakeholders so that they begin to understand. Because if you set out to say, let's go to on this big trip, they're going to look at this and think, whoa, this we cannot do. Discouragement comes in, frustration comes in, resources are frustrated, people's energy levels are not high enough. So as you communicate the vision, you get to a stage of buy-in. Once my kids are ready, we're going on a holiday, we're excited. They begin to harass me. Daddy, when is it? Is it tomorrow? How many more sleeps? The energy levels are high. The motivation, because my number one role as a leader, once I have vision, is to sell the vision and communicate it in a way that I motivate my team to have high levels of energy. So once the team is energized, they begin to take on the different responsibility. My wife will do the grocery and the snacks for the trip. My kids begin to pull out the clothes they need. I make sure the car is serviced. Similar to an organization, the different departments become clear about what their role is in the big picture. Yeah. So that's the first step of beginning to prepare for the vision.
You see, what you say is very important, because it's exactly what you say. 95% of the people don't have a vision.
That's right.
Yeah, they have a dream, but there's no vision plan to this.
Yeah.
They're not saying, I'm going to reach the vision by that date. Let's use the example of the car traveling. You know it's going to take you 12 hours to get there.
Yeah.
And I will arrive at 7 o'clock tonight in Cape Town, for instance. So you have a date. You know time of arrival.
Absolutely.
Even on your GPS.
Yes.
You will arrive in 10 minutes. You will arrive in 30 minutes.
Yep.
That's with vision. I think that's where vision leaks sometimes. Is that we don't put a set time to when we want to achieve a certain portion of the vision.
That's beautiful.
You know, because when we built this building, you know, I actually just started building. We just started building. And as the money came in, we built. As the money came in, we started building. And then one great leader, he came to me and he said to me, when are you opening the church? I said, no, when we're done with the project. So he says, but when are you done? I said, we're building as we have money.
It was open-ended,
you know?
Yeah.
So he says, no, you have to put a deadline
yes.
to the vision.
Yes.
Something happened there. You know, I came back from his office and I said to to the team. I said, I'm going to phone Pastor Theo Wolmerans and find out when can he come and dedicate the building.
That's right.
So we made arrangements, and it was in September, and this was like in May somewhere around that I came from that meeting. And he said, no, I'll come in September, So I said, okay, I'll book you. And I booked him. I mean, this building was so far from finished. We didn't have carpets in. We didn't have money.
Yeah.
We didn't have the resources. The ceilings were not in. It was just crazy how far behind we were.
Yeah.
But when I set the deadline, it was like everybody's focus went like this.
That's powerful.
And then they saw the destination.
Yeah.
Money started coming in. Carpets started coming in. Lights started coming in. Resources came. On the night that Pastor Theo walked in here to open the building, we started at 7. At 6 o'clock, they glued the last piece of carpet. But it was done. Today we owe nobody anything.
Yes.
I've learned something there.
Yeah.
Although I had a vision, the vision can take 20 years if you don't put a deadline to this thing.
Absolutely.
A time of destination to this, And I want to encourage the viewers, whatever you're planning, like we said, break it down, but put a date to each one, because then focus comes,
Yes.
energy comes, resources comes. And I really love what you're saying. We need to start focusing on these things. Then you made a very powerful statement, is that, the team needs to be involved in this. They need to know about this. Now, if we have the wrong people in the team, we can maybe speak about vision leaks. And that is one of the vision leaks right there.
Absolutely.
Is that if we have the wrong people in the vision, they will stop that thing.
They'll weigh you down.
They will weigh you down.
Yeah.
We are only as good as our weakest point, really. And we have to make sure the anointing doesn't go out there. We're going to carry on with vision, but there's something that's interesting about the life of Jesus. So let's speak a little bit about the life of Jesus.
Yes.
Most of his miracles he did was to let the blind see. And why is that? Because vision is always lacking.
Yeah.
And everything revolves around vision. This is television. We tell a vision.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Everything we do is about vision. I have a vision for today. I have a vision for a year from now. My eyes is my vision. It's a circle, but that creates a vision.
Yeah.
The world is a circle. It's a vision. The moon, the sun, it's round circles.
Yeah.
So let's speak about circles in your vision. There are certain circles in any company. Like Jesus had the 3, he had the 1, the 3, the 12, the 70, the 120. I think in a company, don't you think it's exactly the same, that we need to have circles that can see the right vision?
Absolutely.
Circles of, I have the 3 around me that understands exactly what I say.
Absolutely.
I have the 12 that has an idea of what I say. The 70, they hear me sometimes, But how do we get the vision accurately from one circle to the next circle?
That's powerful. I'm loving the way you're bringing out this analogy of the circles, because if you look at Jesus's life, the way that he had his inner circle spreading outward, he was an amazing communicator. His level of communication with Peter, James, and John was different with the level of communication with the 12. It was different with the level of communication with the 70 and the 120. The closer they got into his inner circle, the more intimate the level of communication. Why? Because if these people do not understand clearly where you're going, they will communicate to the next level and the next level. And by the time it gets to everybody else, it's already distorted. Right. The vision is not clear. They will not sell what is on your heart as the leader. So one of the key factors of any great leader is the power of communication, your ability to communicate. Habakkuk, the book of Habakkuk chapter 2 says, write the vision down. So you as a leader must write the vision down. Make it plain on tablets, permanent, something that will not be erased. And then it says, so that he that reads it can run. And I often say to leaders that the level of accuracy of your writing will determine the level of accuracy of reading, and the level of accuracy of reading will determine the passion with which people will run. So there's the writing, the reading, the running. One cannot run passionately and accurately if what they are reading is not clear to them. So if I, as a leader, do not take on the responsibility of communicating a clear vision, what I've just done is I've just hindered my team's ability to support the vision, to rally behind the vision, and bring in all their resources of intellectual resources, wisdom, strength, energy, practical energy and stuff. I have just hindered their ability to contribute to the vision. And if the vision is big and it's worth its salt, then it's going to need a lot of resources. It'll need a lot of energy, time. It'll need a lot of people and ideas. So my job as a leader is to communicate. And my level of communication from the top all the way through to the lower levels is vital.
Yeah. Because everybody must know the vision.
Absolutely.
You know, from the parking lot to the platform.
Yes.
Must speak the same language.
Yes. If I go into an organization and I sit with the tea ladies in your organization and they don't know why your organization exists, you're not going to go far. The person who's making the tea must understand why the tea must be served well. Because one day you'll sit with somebody who can change your business life forever, a big client, and she comes in with the tea and it's sloppy and it's spilling over, and the person is offended because they don't like their tea in the saucer. Yeah. But if she understands that we are doing this, we're serving the tea because this can translate to a 10 million rand deal, she will have a certain level of excellence.
So the why is important.
The why is important, yeah. Because if we don't understand the why, the what becomes immaterial. But the importance of the what is based on why. Why am I serving tea? Why am I putting papers straight? Why am I filing? Why am I communicating with clients? Why am I asking people to park their cars with a friendly face? All of that is so important. In our church, one of the most outstanding things that we get as feedback from people is our hosts department. Our guests always give us this amazing feedback that your hosts are so friendly. Your car parking people are so friendly. Why? Because we've trained them to understand that if you help people to park their cars well, help a woman carry her baby cot all the way into the auditorium, it's going to make a statement. So they understand that what I'm doing will translate to membership growth in the church. So every part of the organization, every level clearly understands the whole vision.
Yeah. Yes, and that is so powerful because, you know, the guy in the parking lot, for instance, he just, I'll just wave the cars in. He doesn't understand. He's the pre-evangelist.
Absolutely.
To the service. You know, if I think about our services, your service, my service, before we get on the platform, there are easily 15, 20 departments people go through before you get on the platform.
Yes.
Parking, children's ministry, mother's rooms, ushers, seating, aircons, lights, sound, worship, announcements.
MCs, my goodness,
you know, So they have 15 times the opportunity to say, no, I'm not coming back.
Absolutely.
You know, and therefore each one must play each role, you know. And what I love about this is we have to explain them why. Because they can be gifted in doing the sound, for instance. They're gifted for that. But with the wrong attitude, we will never get to where we really want to get to, you know. So tell me about processes and the development of the vision and so on.
Once the vision is clear, this is what we want to do. It's got to be broken down into departments and into the system flow. For example, let's use our church. What we have done, here's some simple systems that will apply in a corporate setting all the way through to a business, to a government department. We have a system of how do people arrive. Parking, entrance at the gate. Guests can put if you're a first-time guest, put on your hazards. Our ushering team, our car park team will know where to park you. VIP parking, they'll direct you to the guests parking. The moment you come out, people are ready to welcome you. to direct you into the auditorium. The moment you get there, you're given VIP treatment, where to sit, how to sit. The moment you're in there, you're given a gift. The moment you're given a gift, you're invited to a hospitality lounge. You're treated to some tea, cake, biscuits, whatever it is. And 30 minutes after you've left our service, you get a phone call. All of these are different systems that are designed to be customer care oriented, so that we give you that, we call it the pain-free worship experience that causes you to remember us for the rest of your life. So that's how we have processed it. From a business perspective, we use a similar arrangement. The moment we see you as a potential client, we're already communicating and showing you that we value you, not just your money or the invoice, but we value you, your vision. What is it you want to achieve? So we're constantly communicating to our clients that this is what, that you are valuable, that you are important, that we want you to have a great experience with us. And in fact, I remember when we had probably our second meeting, when we sat down together, you gave me a couple of tips, and you said, son, if you're going to have a great church, make sure your parking is great. And we've done a great job with that. Make sure the smell in the auditorium is great. Make sure the sound is great. Make sure the bathrooms are great. So we focused extensively on those 4 areas.